I am sure sports. You know me there. I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Yo, Choba Dog, SK New Erdis, the body you there, Sniper King I represent for I Am Sure Sports. You get to me, I say, when you want the latest news and sports and updates and all of that, check out I Am Sure Sports. You know the thing goes in. Remember, you cover the whole island. Remember Kingston, Westmoreland, Galchester, Ocho-Race, Galtigo Bay, everywhere. I Am Sure Sports, check it out for the latest news and latest updates. Sniper King I represent. Where them feel like, yeah, someone on for the food from we young, from we there, you need height. I Am Sure Sports. Yeah, dog.
Yes, greetings. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am Man in His Man. Hope you're having a great day. Those of you who are watching right now, hope you're enjoying your day so far. I also hope that in spite of all that you have heard as it relates to football, you're trying to keep yourself positive. We're going to discuss, as you would have seen, the interview that most of us would have heard on Sports Max last night, an interview with the coach of the national team, Coach Theodore Whitmore. We're going to try to dissect some truths, some facts about it. We're going to also ask, was too much said? And what about some of the unsaid things in the interview? What we were able to extrapolate from the statements and the questions that were responded to, from his demeanor. Look to see if there are any positives or how the truths shared would benefit us or help us. Or if untruths were told, what are the implications thereof? Want to welcome you all. Those of you who are in the comment section, thank you for joining. Please, once you come on, like the video, share. And also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, big up the coach's desk. Coach Menzies is here. His triple treat, people. It starts tonight. You can check that out at around 7:10. He begins tonight. One show tonight, one on Saturday. And then there is also another show on Sunday. But with this breaking news, I can just imagine how some of these programs will be today. Also, Ryan LFC, a very good friend of mine, he has a show today. He did a video today just speaking about the same matter. So you should go and check that in. But he will be doing this video on Liverpool as they play Manchester City tomorrow in the Premier League. And big up Talawa TV as well. I'll be doing a watch along for the Premier League game tomorrow. And Talawa TV will have a post-match reaction, right? So that will be interesting for you to stay tuned to and watch. Welcome to all of you, to Shutter, Brian, Fresh God, big up, Alex, big up, Demo, big up. I must say, however, that what happened yesterday, let me just give you my thought. It was not a press conference, it was an interview. And there is a clear distinction between a press conference and an interview. I am glad, however, that at least the opportunity for an interview um, was given. Um, I know some of us are very alarmed, probably concerned about some of what we heard. I will not cover all the points because I've listened to it 10 times and I have pulled 10 main talking points from it. But in this I will particular video, I will do probably 5 of the what I think are major points, and hopefully in dialogue with you, um, you know, fans of I Am Sure Sports, we can really seek understanding. Again, one of the things I want to do that in spite of all the negatives, to see if we can find any positives, especially as we head into this very crucial game. This game against the USA, in particular, is going to define what happens for the rest of our campaign, and we honestly need to find a way. The fan base, in though this is looking hopeless, meaningless, to see if we can find ways of encouraging hope in the campaign. It is needed. Again, my hope is slowly fading, but I still believe. I still believe it is possible, but my hopes are fading. But what are your thoughts? Are you disappointed, disgruntled, upset? Are you mad? Is this what you expected? What were you really expecting? What are the things that you are disappointed with? And what was it that you wanted to hear? Did the coach um, answer what you wanted him to answer, or did he tell the truth? And which is better? Is hearing a lie better than hearing the truth? Because both hurt. Lies hurt and truths hurt. But oftentimes lies hurt more than truth. Is it a fact that because of what the coach has shared, you're better able to evaluate your own expectations, which is good for you and good for me? All right. Those are some of the things we want to go through. Again, I know that this is, for many of you, this is difficult because from what I've heard, this whole thing is many people are not happy about it. But if there is an iota of hope, let's please see if we can find it. If you have not seen the interview, just go on YouTube and type in Sports Max, and you will. It's one of the videos that will come up right there. Once you type in Sports Max, because it was done on Sports Max, or you can type in Coach Whitmore. Probably right, Coach Whitmore interview on Sports Max, and you will see that it's very easy. All right. Yeah. So let's get into some of my talking points. I think there was some very revealing and telling things, and a lot of what I have been saying, I think, has been confirmed. Many of the things that I have been saying over since I started this whole thing, because my channel started at the onset of the wage negotiation, wage dispute. It was at that point that my channel actually started. And if you look at even my intro video, it speaks to the discord that existed then, and I still believe that it exists now. And I've long said to many people that if there is going to be any success with our football program, there will have to be mediation. That has not been done. We saw tidbits of good play sometimes at the Gold Cup because we won 2 games, but really all that was band-aid over a serious sore. It wasn't really fixed. It has not been fixed, and up to today, it has not been fixed. And that is the problem. This discord in the team has never been resolved, but let's see. All right? It 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 was never resolved, and you can see the ripple effects of it. All right? So, let's begin. And like I said, I'm going to pick out 5 talking points and just share perspective that it is good to know certain things, because when you know them, you're better able to evaluate your own position. And what I want to encourage you to do is that when you hear some of these points that I'll bring out as you watch the interview, you need to look in the mirror. You need to look in the mirror. Most of us as fans, we have been looking out the window, looking at Coach Tapper Whitmer, looking at the team. And maybe we need to look at ourselves and say that we had set our expectations too high. We had overbelieved, right? I want you to remember that. Many of us, I believe, are at that place. We have this idea, we have this thought that this would be a walk in the park for us. It's not a walk in the park for us in terms of the World Cup qualifying. And many of us were of that mindset. And maybe this is where the disappointment is setting in and the disappointment is creeping in. Is it Tapper's fault why we set our expectations so high? Or is it our fault? Whose fault is it, people? Whose fault is it? Yeah. All right. So let me just again the interview. I know I see Dre Anyweather. Dre Anyweather, I'm going to send you. I don't know if this will work, but I sent it to a couple of other persons in the diaspora, and they have been able to watch it. So I'm going to send it to you right now in your WhatsApp, and you should be able to see it where you are. If not, I don't know, but you should be able to watch it right there if you click on that right now, Dre. I just sent it to you so you can get it. All right. So maybe we set our expectations too high. So let's get into it. One of the first things I want to talk about is George Davis asked a question. He asked a question, and I'm telling you, this problem in the team and this problem we're having goes beyond the coach. George Davis, one of the questions that George Davis asked, and he said, over the 3 games that were played, he counted all the passes that were made by Damian Lowe. And he was basically saying to Tapper, I know that you did not tell Damian Lowe to play all of these long passes. So he asked him, why would he be doing that? Because over the 3 games, he had, I think he said 30 something passes, long passes he counted. And out of all the passes he made from center back up the field, only 2 of those passes he said connected. When this question was asked of the coach, Coach Whitmore said, why did you think I spoke to Tyreek McGee? At no point did he say, you know what? Damian Lowe, who is a leader, need to play wiser. He said, I had to speak to Tyreek McGee and say to Tyreek McGee, 13, right? 13 long balls too successful. 13, not 30. 13. He said, I had to speak to Tyreek McGee and say to Tyreek McGee, go and demand the ball, right? He went on and said, George, you think I could be playing midfield and my center back is kicking the ball over my head? No, I am going to go and demand the ball. No, I am okay with that. You can go and demand the ball as a creative midfielder, as a CDM from your center back. But you have to also address the center back. Do you realize that in all of this, the center back was not addressed? The problem, it's almost like there was a deferral from Lowe. Remember, Lowe only played 2 games, He never played in the Panama game. So this is, I think, George's calculation would have been based on the Panama, the Costa Rica game and the Mexico game. All right. So that, I mean, we're not going to dissect those inaccuracies because he counted it. I suspect that he was speaking to one game, which was the Costa Rica game. And here is why. Because when the coach answered the question, he spoke to the game that Tyreek McGee played in. Remember, George was talking about all the games, right? And McGee played in what game? In the Costa Rica game. Right? Let me say it again. People, let me say it again. When the question was answered addressing the need for Tyreek McGee to pick up the ball. Which one of the games Tyreek McGee played in? Which one of the games? The Costa Rica game. So, there was a little bit of confusion right there. Because McGee only played in the Costa Rica game. And George was talking about over the series of games, which would include the Mexico game, that Lowe was doing the same thing. So I think, I listened to the interview. I think what happened is that somebody else was being blamed for the defender playing the ball long. When the question was about why is the team playing this way, where the defender is kicking the ball all the way up. This had nothing to do with McGee, really. It had, let me say, it had little to do with McGee. Little to do with McGee. However, isn't that suggesting something? I put it to you, Your Majesty. I put it to you, Your Majesty, that this is suggesting that there are some players that are going to invent a new word. Uncorrectable. New word, quote unquote. In other words, I am not going to correct that player. This other player need to get the ball instead of getting frustrated. I want you to hear me. That is what it is suggesting, which is doing a couple of things. It is putting pressure on McGee that if long balls are being played, McGee, it is your fault. Why are you allowing the team to play long ball? People, you really believe a young McGee has the respect in the team to go and demand the ball from a vice captain who desires to play it long? You really believe that McGee has that kind of a clout in the team? Think about it. Really think about it. He only played in one game, George was saying, over the series of games. So if Maggie didn't play in the Costa Rica game, the balls would have still been played long. That is a problem that needs to be addressed. And it has nothing to do with Tyreek Magee. Though I agree that as a midfielder, Magee needs to go and collect the ball. What say you people? That's one of the things that came out. So it is suggesting to me that there is a problem in putting certain players' name out there and criticizing them in a public forum, but others can be corrected. I don't know. Listen to it again. Maybe there is something that I am not understanding, but I personally felt like the question was why the defense played the ball long. Address that. It is something that we need to fix. We need to play it around the back because Magee played in only one game. And this happened in all three games. It happened in the Panama game, it happened in the Mexico game, and it happened in the Costa Rica game. That's one thing. The second thing is I found it interesting that when George again asked, listen, with you having players injured now, how is that going to work? And the response was about 3 players who are injured. Not 5 players, but 3 players. Leon Bailey, Corey Burke, and Shamar Nicholson. We know that there is some injury to Ethan Pinnock. Why wasn't his name mentioned? We know that there is some injury to Liam Moore. Why wasn't his name mentioned? Yes, they are in the squad like Shamar, but they are injured. I think, again, that kind of is easy for people to insinuate and speculate and think like there's a particular cure for one group and not the other. Because if you're going to call injured players by name, you have to call all. Or you say these 3 and others. So we know that you are referring to all the persons. No, I believe it is a good thing that the coach spoke because we are able to get a better understanding of what is happening. So only 3 names were mentioned, though there are 5 players who have been injured or have recovered from their injuries. Everyone's name should be called because you don't want people to think, hold on, isn't Ethan Pinnock injured? Isn't Leon Moore injured? And this is why maybe the coach, and I mean, like again, I am glad that he spoke because we were crying for that. And there are some things we can take from it. But there are other things that if there was a proper PR system that have been better explained, because these kind of statements could cause problems with the players. All right? So only certain players were mentioned. And next, that's number 2. Number 3, the next big talking point for me was no question was asked about Ravel Morrison. But his name was brought up. Let me say it again. No question was asked about Ravel, but his name was brought up. Do you realize that? Let me say it again. They ask about the influx of overseas players, right? And here's what he said. A player like Ravel, watch this. If you give him an inch, he takes a yard. If you give him an inch, he takes a yard. Wait to hear. If you give him an inch, he takes a yard, right? I don't think that had anything to do with interview or any question that was asked. He said, you have certain players. Take, for example, Ravel. You give him an inch, he takes a yard. Now, what would Ravel feel when he hears this? Seeing that he has also been excluded from the squad. Could this be suggesting that we may not see Ravel in the Jamaican colors again? He's not injured, but he was not called up. And then the statement is made. Again, sometimes suggestions creates problems. Wait to hear me. No question was asked about the player, and you call his name, suggesting that this player is taking advantage of certain things that have been afforded him in the national setup. And then we have 3 games and he's not called, though he's not injured. This is suggesting that something went wrong. I don't know if you recall that at the end of the Panama game, Ravel Morrison did not come back out on the bench because there were some issues. All right? There were some issues. And now you hear this coming up. No, say that Ravel Morrison takes an inch, takes a yard. You give him an inch, he takes a yard. Say that is the case. Management says you speak to the person one-on-one. That's step 1. You bring in people. Step 2. And if that doesn't work, you bring in the whole team. Step 3. Or then you go public. You don't start publicly first, and then you come to the other steps. I hope somebody can get this to top up, because other issues are going to come up. Now, we all knew beforehand that Ravel Morrison is problematic. Some people call him the enigmatic. We know that. However, you have to manage these things. And there's no way saying this publicly is going to help. Think about it. Why was his name brought up? Why? To highlight a negative. In that same context, listen to the interview. In that same context, here is where the conversation went. There are players who are 100. They are 110% committed to the program. In that same context. In that same context, it was said that all the players, because they went on to ask a further question about the amount of money that these guys are getting, do they have respect? In that same context, it was said that all the players show the coach 110% respect. Therefore, I am going to draw a conclusion from that Ravel Morrison has shown respect to the coach. However, based on what was said, there's obviously some issues in terms of what he does. And some of these things have been reported in, let me say this, the underground medias. So there are obvious some issues in terms of Ravel. But the coach is also suggesting he has complete respect from all the players. So part of that respect that you have to show back. And maybe, remember, maybe you have had a conversation with Ravel. But I still believe that that kind of statement could create unnecessary conflict. And that's just the truth. Again, I think it's a good thing the interview was done, because maybe we need to temper our expectations. We need to temper expectations. See, people, I'm being... let me just take some of these comments. I posted to you that there are some way deeper underlying issues within the team that has not been let out to the media. Lots of toxicity. Can't pronounce the word, you know. Sports frenzy surrounding this team. All right. People, I am just dissecting what was said. I know somebody saying that if I were allowed to, I would play some of the things. He said he can manage the players and he has no problem with managing the players, and he used Ravel as an example and then restated he can manage them. All right. No, I cannot say I'm managing a player and bring up his problems in the public. That's poor. Listen, brethren, I'm a manager. And if I manage people, and if I go publicly to about one of my staff or persons under my control and say, listen, hey, I have some issues, you know. And one of the issues I have is this person always, that cannot be healthy, because management tells you do it one-on-one. I meet with the player and I talk to them. And even if I'm going to use an example, I cannot call a name. I will say, listen, sometimes when you manage people, there are some persons that if you give them an inch, they take a yard. It is not wise to call a person's name like that, because it creates unnecessary conflict. All right? All right? Now, let me just, I'm going to go back to what I'm saying, because I claim out, I don't know which underground media you heard that from, but I have said it clearly on my channel that Coach Whitmore has a high level of respect for Kemar Roof. And like I said, he said all the players in the team, and this was a question asked about even the players from out of England, all the players in the team have 110% respect for him. And it doesn't matter, because that question was asked of him. All I'm saying is this, that certain things you don't do out in the public because it creates other issues. Remember, I've not said to you yet, I've not spoken to you about no firing, nothing like that. I've not said anything. You don't hear me talking about Whitmore. No, you don't hear. I did say this was a good interview, but we need to take the points from it and see if we can find. So come on now, let's keep it. Let's keep it. Let's go on. So that's number 3. So number 1 about the Damian Looney passing the ball out of the back. I think I saw Shatter saying, is he also suggesting that if McGee doesn't play, then it's only long balls because McGee played in only one game. Thing number 4 is I believe that came out of this interview was a matter of not having enough time with the players. This again, I think, is something that we need to break down. Not having enough time with the players. People, I know you like the content. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button for me, man. Hit the like button, right? Hit the like button. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. But the coach says that he need, you know, this was Lance Whitaker who was speaking to him, and he said, "Listen, what you're saying? I mean, the game is going to be. We go on the 4th, and the game is on the 7th. How much time do you think we are going to have to prepare the players?" All right. Now this is partly the coach, but primarily the JFF. Hold on, people. I have an important phone call. Hold on, you're not going to believe this. Hello. All right. All right. Yeah. Just an important phone call. You don't know who is going to come on. Hold on. Hit the like button. This is going to be interesting, right? So let me say it again. The coach said that, which is true. Right now, you're not going to have enough time with the players. Impossible. And he went on to say, in the short time that we have, my job is, what can I coach the players? Absolutely. He said, my job when they come at this time is really management. It's to manage the players. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely right. I agree. At this time, you work on tactics and you and you manage the players, right? I agree. So right now, it is not the time. It is not the time. Watch me. It is not the time to coach and teach people to control and pass, run off the ball and no. This is not the time for it. The time now is exactly what the coach says. The players need to come in and I need to manage them. And he's saying that some of this need to start from the youth level. Absolutely true. Whitmore is right on that. He's right on that. You cannot expect a senior national coach to get players at this age and be able to do certain things with them. Players have to come in ready and prepared to do what needs to be done. Absolutely right. However, people, we had 1 month of Gold Cup. And somebody needs to answer to this. What happened then at the Gold Cup? Shouldn't the Gold Cup be used? Remember, there was a 10-day camp and we were at the Gold Cup for 21 days. So that is 1 full month we had. That time should have been the time when the player preparation and teamwork and chemistry and all of that be done. All right? I have Ryan joining me. And I have someone. Ryan, what's going on?
I'm here chilling. In a nice, cool winter, or should I say spring, going on to winter.
Yes.
Yeah. Where go on?
I am here, man. What say you?
What say me? Yo, I needed to tap up on him shoulder and tell him fall off from 2016.
He has fallen off?
Yes, man, from 2016, bro.
Explain to the people what you mean. Explain to the people what you mean.
Brother, no, seriously, bro. What is all of these things we're hearing from coach? Hey, let me tell you something. One thing, nobody can say Ryan LFC start this Tapper thing, You always blame me, say me like Tapper, always make video demo, Tapper handbag. Yeah, can't blame Ryan LFC. The man them have all the right to hide the video. You know, say the man them hide the video. Unless say nobody now see the video, Mannings, man. You mute, Mannings, man. You mute.
The video is not. You're not able to see the video again.
No, bro. The man them block the video, bro. The man them unlist the video.
Really?
Yeah,
Whoa.
brother. The man say a lot of things what him not said, bro. You see me I say? The man need some media. Man need some help, bro. Man need help, bro. Me myself need some help, but top
Yeah,
of
but-
roast than me, bro.
That's
Top of
why.
roast than me.
But remember, that's why, Ryan, that's why I've taken this opportunity, because really, I am not here trying to, if you listen to how I've been speaking, nobody can say I'm out here beating Tupper, asking for Tupper out. I know that is the general sentiment. I think he said some important things. I think he said some important things that we
Like
need to
what?
really.
What?
All right. Like, I don't agree with a lot of things, but like I said, he's right. He's right to say, you can't coach players at this level 2 days before a game. It's really to manage them.
Well, on the Mannings, man. Let me stop it this in a bridge.
Yeah.
Bridging. Mannings, man. What I'm tuning. USA
Why?
get the same time. Mexico everybody get the same time in CONCACAF.
Yeah, man.
Jamaica alone get the difference.
No, man, that is why I'm saying to you, Ryan. Remember what he's saying. All coaches say this, not just Tupper alone. All coaches say we don't get enough time. So now it is management. So what I'm saying to you is that what we must question is not his ability to coach the players. It is his ability to manage the players. Now, like I said, no, I'll go back. He should have used the time at the Gold Cup to prepare a starting 11.
Brother,
Yeah.
listen to me. All when I get Tupper 1 year without the player them got them club team, you get the same result, bro.
Yeah.
The man I put blame for other people. You know, listen to the man, bro. Me thank God me listen it for myself before them block the interview. Brother, the man I find all kind of issue. And him not taking no blame. Oh, this is one of the brethren, them man, favor
Yeah.
man. So, brother, no respect, brother. Look like you come for different team. You know what say, Mannings, man, Demo and me are good friend. When he come on to Liverpool, brother, me and the man say, hi, hello, what's up, everything good. But when it's come on to Jamaica, I don't know if this man get paid by Tupper Whitmore or the JFF, bro. You need to come out that comfort zone, brother. You need to come out that comfort zone and wake up, brother. But as I say, every national team get the same time. Why Tupper? I keep on put the blame on other people. Brethren, shut your blasted mouth, brother. If you're not if you say don't come talk to the media, bro. Because you come and make eruption. The man come and talk about Ravel Morrison. Who asks about Ravel Morrison, bro? Who asks about Ravel Morrison? Answer to the man them question and stop sight. Hold on there. Sports Max. Listen, my man. Come like when you want Ryan NFC on the show, brethren, because it's no way on earth when you come and you leave ask man. Some question, I just said them not allow me for the press conference, you know, brother. Because some question may ask with more, you know. A serious question, you know, brother.
Yeah.
Because the man, them ask man some little question, some little joke question, brother. A joke question like the man them prepare and tell Tupper, say, yo, this is where I got asked. So, it's a planting. It's a planting, it's a must a joke thing, this brother. Brother, the man need to leave the national team. Brother, Tupper Whitmore. Just resign the brethren, man. Just resign the man. Make somebody else take up the job, brother. Why you put the Jamaican people in so much headache, brother?
Yeah. All right, Ryan. Hold on. What say you? This is Levon from Sports Frenzy. You must check him out. They have a good content. They're up every week. They don't have long programs, but they're up every week. You
No, man, sometimes we have it long, man.
Yeah, man. All right. No, Demo, he mute himself, Demo. Don't worry. He mute himself. Demo, so
But
mute, right?
Mannings, man,
Right,
when I look at it, right? All right, personally for me, I don't like when coaches come in the media and criticize players. That is just a no-no for me because that's one of the main reasons why I dislike Jose Mourinho. And that's why I never want him at United. However, certain things that you heard in the interview are like scratching it and say, but this have no correlation with the argument that's being discussed.
Exactly.
And as Ryan said initially, personally for me, I think that it was said to Tapa what the interview was going to be about. Because I remember that this man hasn't been taking any interviews, So it seems like they hotline what it was about, and then he said, all right, here, I'm just going to take it. So he came on, and one thing that I don't understand or get is that you're the coach of this team. You're going to criticize that the midfielders are not demanding the ball from the defenders. However, isn't that a coach issue? Isn't the coach the one supposed to sort out that issue than the players themselves? Because remember that you're coming in, you're implementing a strategy. Now, if you're going to just allow players to do whatever they feel, you think that those players are going to respect you at the end of the day? I don't see the sense in that one.
Yeah, but he did say, though, that's why he spoke to McGee and said to McGee, you need to go and you need to go and demand the ball. But what I'm saying, my thing is that it's only one game, and this is an ongoing problem. And I felt like, for me, I felt like the issue was more, I'm not going to say like, boy, Low need to stop that. It's easier for me to say, McGee, you need to do better. You understand me? It's almost like, McGee, I'm going to correct him. Yeah.
Man. The coach down the balls, brother. The man look like him have two split underneath him, brother. When you're a manager and a player, you ask a player to do a particular thing, and you go out there and do one thing, you come off of the pitch. Brother, if Tapa, nobody no respect Tapa, brother. All of them local players fool themselves, brother. Because
no, but Ryan, that is
no way a manager to yo.
No, man, that is disputing what you're saying now, because Tapa said that he has 110% respect from all the players overseas and locally. He said that. You're muted, Ryan. Go ahead.
Brother, that's not true, bro. That's not true. Brother, me play football, brother, and Coach Aleman say, Rima, more you go do that on the field. He said, if you go and do the wrong thing, the man just take you off, brother. Never bell. The same thing, brother. Is no way a coach I tell you say, brother, it's not only Damian Lowe, you know. It's not only Tyreek McGee, you know, brother. All of the Englishman them, brother. Bam. Same thing. Why our midfielder them can't come for the ball? Everybody afraid of the ball, brother. And then this Ravel Morrison thing, brother. I tell you, brother, the thing where I let down Tapa, brother, is manage. Why you think them coach it? Why you think the people them change the thing from coach? Manage. You have to learn how to manage individual. Talent player like Ravel Morrison, you have to learn how to manage him, brother. We can't afford to not have Ravel Morrison in this team, brother. And Tapa having feelings, brother. Brother, listen some of the thing where the man say, brother. Just listen to the interview. Bro, Tapa need to go, management. Me no want hear nothing. The man need to go, brother. Me no want hear nothing. He need to go, brother. The man mash up a team, brother.
All right. Let's go ahead.
Let's look at it though. Could it be said that whatever I said about Ravel is something that was burning him from a longer while back, and he just wanted to get it off his chest? Because remember that he hasn't been doing any interview at all, you know. And this was the only occasion that he did an interview, and he just wanted to let this out. Could it be said that was the case?
Let me tell you what I think with the Ravel thing, because there are reports that there was partying before the Panama game. Unconfirmed reports that certain players were partying, gallivanting up late at night, and that contributed to the performance in the Panama game. Now, there is unconfirmed reports also that at halftime there was an argument that involved Ravel. So I think, and that's why I'm saying that I don't believe it was the wisest thing to have used his name in the example, because you could have said there are certain players or some players if you give them, but once you put the person's name into it, you bring, you know.
So you're saying, it was better that he just said, all right,
generalize instead of personalize,
instead of having a target. Because remember that we as fans and analysts can just look at it and say, probably it's a personal agenda that he has against Ravel. It could be a case of this or that. So instead of just pinpointing one person, just make a general comment that, you know, that there were some this, some that, and then we would be out here speculating as to who it was and things like those, instead of knowing that, hey, it's Ravel Morrison, and we know Ravel Morrison history from a longer while back.
Yeah.
So you bring a little thing into that. So I agree with that.
Yeah, and then not only that, you can't in the same context as well be saying I have 110% respect from. So you generalize the fact that you have in respect from the players, and you personalize a thing that looks like a lack of respect. So it's kind of contradicting in and I don't know if it is how the question was structured, but you can't generalize and say, let me tell you this. I have 110% respect from all the players. But then you say this man and you personalize it. It doesn't come off well, right? It doesn't come off well, and it could have been communicated better. But one of the things I must say that I like Levan and Ryan is this: that at the end of the day, the coach said, I have players who will die on the field for me. They are committed.
Yeah, man, Javon Watson.
Well, he didn't call any name. The coach went on and said, all the players respect me. So these are good things, people, in the interview, because he's saying that there are players out here will die for him. I want us to understand as well, right? Ryan and Levan. The issue of time and the players, I don't know if I agree with it. And here's why. Because the core of our defense, how many changes have we really made? Really, we have Alvas playing, who have always played under Whitmore. Lawrence always played under Whitmore. Lowe always played under Whitmore. Blake, so these players he has been using for a very long time. Mariappa has always played, and then Liam Moore, who has come in, has played several games. Let's go in midfield. Speedy always plays. Bowser always plays. So the real truth, there is a core that he has had enough time with. So like that part, I'm trying to figure out what did that mean about time? Because
Management.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Brother, the man have nearly 15 players.
15, yeah. You're muted.
The man have around 15 players been get calling up for the national team for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
That's a level, brother. And 4 changes,
Yeah.
So what am I talking about?
Yeah. Like
which manager you see come out and say them last just and say which manager you hear come out and say that? Only Jose Mourinho and them man when them come on Sky Sports them open up after them lose them job. No manager in a them job I go say yo the player them no rate them. A lot of the player them no rate them. When they are good baller and a good coach you can help the team, brother. Yeah. You understand? The man is a boat to the team, bro. The man, you go watch and see come in the American game. It's when the whistle blow up, I go support the reggae boy. The man is a boaty, bro. Me I tell you, why won't people not listen to me, bro? They say if we just remove that money from when the Gold Cup done, brother, we have 1 month to prepare, brother. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. I tell you, star, brother. Brother, only thing I beat you, brother. Every manager out tactics stay there with me. What that I tell you, say, brother?
Yeah.
What that I tell you, say? Every manager out tactics, man, brother, man.
But Ryan, he made up. Here's the point. Some of the point that he made, Levan. He said, right, we could have get a point out of Mexico. We could have defeated Costa Rica.
Coulda.
No.
Yeah, coulda. Go buy that downtown, brother. Go buy that downtown, but coulda.
No, let's be out, Levan. So he's saying that really, and he said he takes responsibility for the Panama game. Because he said it, he said, listen, the players were being prepared. He said he did say that the heat was a factor, because he did say that. The heat was a factor and thing. And so that is why we probably never got the result, a better result in the Panama game. So the point is that if things were different, our cry would be different, right?
in other words, if we had defeated Costa Rica, gotten a point from Mexico, and even lost to Panama, everything could be different. So results will change perspective, because if you're going to these games and get results, your perspective are going to change.
Yeah,
And
true. Management, good pointer.
yeah.
Because, all right, even when I keep my podcast, right, there's a particular analyst on my show that's always saying that, for instance, look at Rafa Benitez. He may not be loved by the Everton fan base, however, he's producing the results that they want. So instead of them keep on beating up on him, you notice the chance for him to be out kind of has lessened somewhat. So result is what matters. And had Tapa been getting results, I guarantee you that a lot of people that are saying Tapa out would actually have a different perspective on it.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Another point that I want to bring across, because I saw, I'm a German fan, so I saw Hansi Flick made a comment earlier on today. He said that good teams play with each other. Great teams play for each other. That's something to take into consideration. So basically,
say that again. Good teams.
Good teams play with each other. Great teams play for each other.
Play for one.
So
one play with each other. One play for one another. The great teams play for
So what I'm getting at is that what I don't want to happen with all these criticism by Tapa is that we see a segregation that we already saw that is in this team already, to even widen more. That is the risk that he's running now, because you know that coming out in the media and criticizing Ravel Morrison, for instance, who is an Englishman, the Englishman can probably look and say, yo, so if we go simply make a mess-up or a mess-up right here, it's the same thing, same sort of treatment we'll get. So we don't want to turn off these players, right? While also the local base players can be looking at it and saying, we never really rate them do this, because you know that you have players that are very good for the dressing room. So we don't know what sort of impact Ravel Morrison at the dressing room. So these are things that can turn off players. So we have to look at those things.
Yeah, that is true, because and part of my issue is this, and this I keep saying this, right? Obviously, there is, because he said this. One of the things he said is that it's not easy to bring in players, and he says that we're going to keep going through this cycle, and he mentioned that we should be developing the players and we have enough talent. In other words, that was if you listen to the interview, it was suggesting that he believes Jamaica's best chance of qualifying for the World Cup is if we develop the talent locally. That was the suggestion. All right. So basically what that is saying now is that the players who are coming in from overseas, he thinks like this influx of them is part of the issue that needs to be dealt with long term and immediate. Now, this is critical, because here's why it is critical. This has to be dealt with, because that is divisive at its very core. There must be a meeting to explain what this is what was said, what was meant, because it sounds like I had a group of players working with from 2019 that I think were good enough, and then all of these players are coming in, suggesting that some of the players that have come into the side, he didn't want them. Somebody else influenced that.
Look at it though, Mannings, man, because this is where a lot of things has to come into question. Now, I as a coach, right? The main thing for a team to actually progress is balance. Balance is what counts, and you know that you have these players coming in from England, and it's not as if we're talking about some bug players, some players that are not good, not performing at the top level. A lot of these players are performing. Now, with the suggestion from him, right, about building up more local talents and all that. Look at a man, for instance, like a Kaim Paris, who was basically in the Premier League for 2-3 years, right? Yeah. This man has left the Premier League, gone overseas, performing at FC Copa. 7 goals in 11 appearances. Brilliant for him, right? No, that is a man that was basically local bred, Why is it that a man like him is being overlooked?
That is the question I asked yesterday. And this is why I need a press conference where somebody can explain to me. And Kaim Paris can hear the press conference and understand why he's not being selected. Right? I need to know why we don't have and Kevin Stewart. Is Kevin Stewart probably one of the reasons is that, listen, I am tired of players just coming in. I'm just going to work with what I have, because really, and maybe, I don't know, but maybe we should have just left him to use the players that he believes, and if it fail, it fail. You understand? Because no, Ryan, but what? Because here it is now that he can come out at the end of this and say, listen, people were bringing players in the team that I never wanted. And it would be true. Because he's basically suggesting that, yeah, you think they are better, but I don't think they are better than what I have. No, we may think that don't make any sense, but that could be the premise that he's operating on.
But
And
all
he
right,
feels, like, it's like, Ryan, I work for your company, right? And I have this old thing that I use to wash. I use Ajax Beach to wash the pots. But you come now and give me something where you just bring from United States. I mean, I said, no. I mean, Ajax bleach me I use because of this me used to. And then I use your product and the thing fail. The thing don't work out. It don't look as good. Then I go and turn to you and say, listen, if you didn't leave me to use what me used to use, it would be better. There's no proof of that, But I think that is the premise he's operating under, which is suggesting to us that the coach at least believe that he's been forced into at least picking certain players.
But Manningsman, wasn't the Caribbean Cup a Hull-based local team?
Yeah, but he's going to tell you that he never had his core players in a car. You listen, we can try go around it,
I'm just asking, man. I'm just trying to figure out something.
Let me give you the coach core players and then let Ryan come in. Damian Lowe, Kemar Lawrence, Alves Powell, Andre Blake, Shamar Nicholson, Corey Burke, Devon Williams. These are 7 of his core players. Junior Fleming, 8. There may be others, but these players.
Alves Powell.
Yeah, I call O'Neal. How could I forget the fishy one? O'Neal Fisher. Not fishy, understand me, because his name. O'Neal Fisher. So these players are always in the coach's team. He will say to you, in the Caribbean Cup, I never had these players. And he will say to you, every time I've had these players, I've gotten better results. He will say to you, when I've had these players and remember when I added Leon Bailey, you remember that we went to the semi-finals of the World Cup. He's going to use that. So I am just wondering if we should just leave him.
All right, Manningsman, we have watched football for a long while, right?
Yeah.
And I have nothing against Junior Flemings because, I believe he's a decent player. However, the same thing that you're seeking from a Junior Flemings, don't you get that with Kaim Paris along with the end product? Because what Junior Flemings lacks in is end product.
Yes.
Junior Flemings will beat a man easily, but when it comes down to making that final third decision, that's where it's lacking. Now with Kaim Paris is going to take on a man, he's going to beat a man, and he's going to finish those chances, right? Now, you look at top teams across this world. For instance, at Spain never have a reason to call up a 17-year-old Gavi. He's just recently started performing for Barcelona, right? Yet the coach find a way to actually incorporate him into the team. Now, Paris, who is performing, as I said, you said that probably Flemings is one of those core players that he has trust and faith and all of that in. However, if I see a player out there that is doing exactly what I want from Flemings with what I also want in terms of the end product, why would I leave that player aside? Last night I hosted a podcast and I keep on asking the question, why? And I'm one of the main persons behind Kaim Paris now because I'm following this youth from he went to Marcus Garvey Tech until he moved on to Dintil.
There you go.
So
listen, I watched Kaim Paris playing in D1 in Senton. All right? He's not ordinary. Kaim Paris and this other guy that plays for Mount Pleasant, Daniel Green, all of these guys come from the same Windsor community.
Yeah.
It baffles me. But I'm telling you again that and part of it, I hear Ryan said this about his marriage. He says he tells his wife that him don't really want love. Him want loyalty. Right, Ryan? That's what Ryan says, right? No, I think Whitmore is loyal to these players.
Brother, how you feel loyal to somebody and you not get the result? Me I get result from my wife, brother. If me not get result, me not move on, brother. Me not make you loyal to me dead, brother. And she not take care of me. Whitmore, him not win. That's one of the funniest thing, brother. The man now win, and the man stick to loyalty. I never say nothing of loyalty, but loyal to a point, brother. The man ya bring, the man ya, them tap on the man, them for go on, yeah, man. Brother, you say if you run on that brother, at the bottom of the table, and finish again. Remember me telling you.
Yeah. Yeah. But I agree with you. Lavon, I agree with you that Kaim Paris needs to be in this team. All right. I don't see the need. I don't see the need. I don't see the need for East. I don't see the need for Fisher. Respectfully, I don't see the need. We had better options than Javon Watson. Go ahead. Right?
Man. Who get Paris overseas? Which club?
Cavaliers. Yeah.
You see, it's a Cavaliers player, they might get a hard fight. And you see, Craig Butler player, they might get a hard fight because guess what? You see them person there, top and really say eye to eye to them, brother. You have to know the mind game of top of them.
But Ryan, look at this though, because personally I heard that he had some issue with the agency that got Paris overseas, but I kind of never looked at it from that standpoint. Reason being, remember that Norman Campbell has the same agent, right? And Norman Campbell was recently in the setup. So do you agree that it's probably a personal agenda against the agency, or as I said, it's just that because the players came through Cavaliers and gone through that avenue is the reason why?
But Ryan not hearing. But you know what, Levon, let me answer that. Coach Whitmore said last week he met with the head of the technical, which was Rudolph Speed. Mm-hmm. So it seemed to me, whenever can get Mr. Speed, that they actually communicate. So the thing sometimes it is, listen, and I really want, listen, for the sake of the team, I want what is best. But to the demise of the team, I think some of these guys are in it. I said in the game that we played against Costa Rica that it was the first time I have ever seen Whitmore like call a player at the side of the field and kind of basically rough them up. The player, when it went onto the field and did better, which was McGee. But I've never seen that done with the Alvas. I've never seen, yeah, you understand me? So it does say that there are certain players in the team that get treated a particular way.
So you're saying there's preference?
There's again, listen what the man said. Why in 3 games, though it was only 2, 3 games, Damian Lowe made 13 long passes and only 2 connected. I know Coach Whitmore that you did not coach him and tell him to do that. All right, George, let me tell you. That's why I had to say to McGee, don't get frustrated. You have to go and demand the ball. The man was not asking a question about McGee wanting the ball from Lowe and not getting it. He was asking why Lowe was doing that, but he deferred it to speak to a need for McGee to do certain things. And I think that is suggesting to me that certain players don't get treated a particular way. You could have generalized the whole Ravel situation. You could have even said, listen, one of the factors that led to us playing so poorly in Panama, that some of the players were gallivanting. You didn't have to call any name, because when you call people's name, it gonna cause some sort of dissension and division in the team. And
that's already there.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying it. And where I stand right now, though the coach says he has 110% respect from them, I think unless a player like Lowe and Andre Blake, who are and Alvas Powell and Kemar Lawrence, these 4 players have the most influence in the team. Unless these players go and meet. Hear what the coach said. The coach said at the end of the Costa Rica game, he knows that we can qualify because at the end of the Costa Rica game, he called the players to talk to them. Andre Blake, he said that he will talk to them. And he did his 4 minutes talk with the players. And we know that we're going to qualify. That is saying to me that Andre Blake can take some responsibility.
He's a captain.
Exactly. To bring the team together.
And you remember the other day, Manningsman, when there were a little Abaloo around the team, and Andre Blake and Kemar Lawrence were the most vocal amongst the group, and even Damian Lowe to an extent. So,
Yeah.
as you said, these are players that it has seemed as if they are respected amongst the peers, right? So these are players that can talk to others and get in that communication and try to build back that wedge that seemingly is there. But I don't know if you have touched on it before, Manning, but with the current setup, right? And the players that have been called up, what system do you think is best going forward, knowing that USA are currently missing out a Giorian and a Christian Pulisic, even though they still have good enough players, just that they are not gelling. It's the same thing that with US, US are not playing good together. However, they have been getting the results, and that is what you want. Now, with the current setup and the current players that have been called, what system you think is best that can get results from? Which system you think is best?
Listen, we have to. The court said, I do not have enough time to coach the players. Therefore, you have to just use the system that you keep using. You can't, because you can't. In other words, there's no system.
Manningsman, no bother
Eh?
with that, brethren. Stop
No.
listening to Tap on the brethren, man. Jesus Christ, Manningsman.
All right, no, all right, okay, all right. Right, I've listened to me. I'm gonna say though. Let me just say, Balakar. Let me say it again. Balakar. Let me help you. Kaim Paris is from Saint and he come from Windsor. He went to Marcus Garvey, went to Dintil. He was at Cavaliers and he moved overseas. He used to play for Brazil and he used to play for our side in Saint Anne as a local youth named Napoli. All right, that I know. My team play against him all the time. Somebody I know very well. All right. So Ryan, what I'm saying is that if the coach is saying that, listen, when the players come in, I don't have enough time to work with them. That means whatever system you have been using, you have to use it and put the best players in there. So for this game, he has to still use his 4-2-3-1. I think that is a system that he uses the most. 4-2-3-1, which is four in the back, the two holding midfielders. I think again he's going to play players out of position. All right. What do I mean by that? I think besides Speedy, he's going to probably play Daniel Johnson, which is playing Daniel Johnson out of position. All right. And then he's going to start Magee. I think when you heard him call Magee's name, I think it's because he's impressed with Magee. So he's saying that, didn't you see how Magee, he talked to Magee and how Magee looked good? In other words, you can expect Magee is going to start against the USA. So there are many unsaid things in what the coach was saying. The coach don't plan to start Javon Watson.
Okay. But Manningsman, listen to the team.
Go ahead.
Listen to the team that I think could probably work out, since as we're lacking in midfield and we don't necessarily have a defensive midfielder. I said a 3-5-2 formation would be best suited for this team. Once Ethan Pinnock and Liam Morris fit, have those two along with Damian Lowe, because they know that Damian Lowe is a trusted source around there from this coach. So has those three playing as a defensive unit. Kemar Lawrence, Alpha Spoil, right? In the midfield, now you know that you're going to have Devon Williams because he's a ball winner. As I said, Devon Williams is not the best of players. However, he does the little things that you need as a coach.
Yeah.
Daniel Johnson. Yeah, of late, he has been playing more as a number 10 for Preston. Across the season before, he normally plays a box-to-box midfielder. So you're going to have him in that midfield as well. You just mentioned Magee, so yes, I would agree with that. Up top now, I'd go with Antonio with either Roof or Bobby Reed. Reason being, I'd have them play that ball to Antonio. Let Antonio use his hold up play as we see him do for West Ham, and then have Roof or Reed making those late runs from those knock-on passes. That is a way that we could possibly counter whatever US comes with. And then it's not a case of the US team is all over the top. It's not as if their defense is the best of the best. So I believe a 3-5-2 formation could hurt this US team.
A 3-5-2?
Yeah.
Who would be a three centre backs?
I'd go with Ethan Pinnock, Liam Moore, and Damian Lowe.
But one of the things that surprised me is that he never mentioned those players' injuries.
Yeah, but Ethan Pinnock is not a serious injury still, no.
It's not?
No.
Well, Brentford playing tomorrow? It's tomorrow they're playing or Sunday. So that's what I want to see. And Liam Moore never played in his team game, I think, on Tuesday. So I'd love to see what will happen. But that could work. But But go ahead, Ryan. Let me hear what you say. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, I have to go leave you guys now. I'm up on the road as you guys can see, but
Yeah. What time your show start today?
me don't know yet, brother. Me don't know yet, honest. But anyway, brother, US missing a lot of player. They are affected by a lot of injured. And this is what I love about the United States. They get the result when they need it. United States over the years play as a team. They play as a unit. The coach, he know what he's doing to get the job done, to get the points for the United States. Although he under a lot of pressure. Remember, this man has won 2 major trophies for the United States. And United States fans crying out for him to get sacked. Can you imagine 5 points in the World Cup qualifying and we sitting bottom of the table with 1 point and not winning the Gold Cup? Bro,
Yeah.
all if USA not having the A team, you see them put in a very good performance.
Yeah.
Reason, they coach. One thing USA not worry. If them coach, all of them coach sick, the man a beat up. All of the man on the sideline, the man a beat up. You understand? The man a beat up. The man out tactics stopper in the summer, where Tapper was sleeping on the sideline. Next thing to bro, why Tapper cannot make the first change in our game? Man always a react. Always a react what the coach do. You make the change first, Reggie. Mornings, man. I tell you, brother, I go look something for me YouTube thing. I have another piece of thing on me. I go look for another story.
Yeah, man.
I don't really want to walk with the phone on me and to talk about Tapper car. Somebody in the store good answer you. I want to think I'm mad you, man. So
Yeah. Yo, Bridget, respect. Respect,
you
man.
don't know the thing, brother.
Yeah, let us know when the show coming on. All right.
Sports what? Sports are friendics or something like something, brother.
Sports frenzy.
Sports
Sports
frenzy.
friendics. Here what? Demo is supposed to give a message. Come reach
Yeah,
out
man,
to
the link
Demo
come
this morning. You get it? All right.
Yeah, man. We'll make the
So
link
that's what
happen.
your name on Instagram, right?
No, we haven't created an Instagram page as yet.
Virgin, wake up, Virgin. We need more man like Uno, brother, for attack with more, brother.
Don't
We
say
need, we need a community to get large, brother. So when we talk, it's thing.
That's how it
You
works.
see what I'm saying? So
All right, Ryan. So if anything, we'll see you later. Demo say must go on your bed. So hurry up.
Demo, big up, yo, enough respect, Demo, brother. One love, brother. May I have a difference from the Jamaican stuff, but you don't know, one never walk alone.
Yeah, man,
So,
next time for my more you look like Demon, not me.
really?
Yeah, man, you know, so quite a few of my friends and see you before. And I must say, yo, a Demon twin this, you know, brother.
Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah, man.
guys.
Yeah, man. All right. Respect, Ryan, and thanks for the link. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Listen, but I think somebody made this point, Ryan, Levon, that was a very good point. Because when you go back to that practice game that we played, even the game that we played against the USA in the Gold Cup, I think it was Junior Fleming that scored in that game, gave us an equalizer because it was US was up by 1. And then, but I realized part of the issue I have is now where I think Coach Whitmore need to make some changes, because a lot of the USA attack came down the side that Alvas Powell was. I think we suffered. I think Kemar Lawrence had a good game. And it was, but in the friendly game that we played, it was Jamal Lowe connecting with Gray that created the goal that Jamaica scored. So I am suspecting that he's going to. Oh, we lost 1 to the USA. Yeah. We lost 1 in the go right.
Man, well conceded later and after some stupid play.
Right. We conceded late. Was that the game
wasn't it the same game that we had a chance down the other end and then immediately afterwards US hit us and man, that was
the game that Gray missed the chance?
I think it was that same game.
Yeah, I think it was a game that Gray. But so I think he's going to stick to his 4 at the back. I remember that in the game that we played, Jaden White could have been blamed for a couple. Jaden White could have been blamed for a couple of the goals in that USA game that we lost 4-1, though it was a friendly. But that USA team was primarily built around their players in Europe. because they didn't take a lot of the Americans, the game that was played in Australia. So I think that if we can set up with the Larry, I would set up with Ethan Pinnock. I like the back five, but I think it exposes one of Alvas's problems.
No, but I don't think it would actually expose it, because remember that when you play three at the back, the centre back on the right hand side would cover for whoever is playing right wing back. Personally, for me, I'm not the biggest Alva Square fan because I believe Javian Brown is a far way superior player to him. That's my belief, right? And I would have Javian Brown play instead of him, because you have seen what he has done for Vancouver Whitecaps, and he has been very good. But you have to just work with whatever Tapa is going with, and that is what he's going with at the time.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. People in the comment section, listen, there are so many comments. I've missed some of them, but I really appreciate them and reading them. Lavon, you guys have a show this evening?
Yeah, we do, man. We're going to preview the English Premier League. Last night we talked about the Reggae Boys.
Okay. So like I said, people, I mean, those are some of the talking points. I still believe this USA team is not firing what I would say on all cylinders right now. So they have a little bit of problem in their own team. The coach is under pressure. So I'm going to believe that Jamaica can get a result.
But you know what's weird? You know what's weird though, Mannings, man, because a lot of these players for US, they're actually performing in the leagues outside of US in terms of you have a Brendan Aronson.
Isn't that the same thing with Jamaica, man?
Yeah, that's why it bothers me as to why when they come into the setup, these players can't look the same. Is it a case that the system doesn't really allow them to play that sort of football, or it's just that based that they know that the playing for their club is where they eat their bread. That is their bread and butter. They give more for their club than
I'm going to tell you what I believe. I believe the USA coach has the same mindset like Tapa concerning players. I think the USA coach, Berhalter, he prefers playing with the MLS players.
All right, to answer to Pagan, no, I don't want to see a guy in the team, none at all.
Yeah, I think so. I think part of the USA's problem is that they like to play, the coach likes to play the MLS players. I think he has more confidence in them. Because Christian Pulisic has not done well.
Yeah, man, whenever he's fit, man, he's going to play.
What you
have to realize, though, Mannings, is that you see a lot of the players that are currently in MLS, most of them have keep on moving on to Europe. For instance, look at the youngster that plays for FC Dallas. His name is Ricardo Pepi. I believe he scored the go-ahead goal in their last World Cup qualifier. I guarantee you that by next year, that youth will be moving on to Europe. So what is happening that we see more of these talents moving on? What is your coach going to do? Just cast a blind eye on him afterwards? No. And I'm just suggesting this because of what happened to Kai in Paris. He was local bred, moving to overseas market. After that, nothing more of him. And another player that I want to take into question is that we haven't seen him play for NK Domsal as yet. Hopefully, he'll get some game time. I'm talking about Ronaldo Biggs that moved from Racing United to Domsal. Hopefully, he'll get some game time because we know that it's the same avenue Kai Paris took. Went to Domsal transferred him back down to Kirka. He moved from Kirka back to FC Copa. So we hope that Biggs will actually get some game time, and we'll see if Tapa will start giving an high to players like that.
Yeah, well, we hope. But like I said, listen, I mean, I am not going to blame a coach. Like, again, I am saying this, right? The coach had preferences. And I believe that he feels like his preferences have been infringed on. And whether we agree or not, he believes that if I were using the players that I wanted to use, I would get better results. We don't believe it, but he believes it. He believes that if I were to use my same 2019 Gold Cup squad, he always talks about Bobby Reid like he rates Bobby Reid and bring it like a Bobby Reid because he always mentioned Bobby Reid's name. I mean, he was talking about the English-based players and he calls Bobby Reid name. And Bobby Reid or whomever, which is incidentally, Mariappa is part of his core and Hector has been a part of the core, but Hector has been dropped.
Look like Hector stop give, as a man insinuates, say look like Hector used to pay the bills for JFF, so it look like the money run out now, so he get job.
Hey, listen. I don't know sometimes where people get some of these things. I keep mentioning Alvarez, he's the weakest link in the team. Like we had this discussion on the channel recently, right? And Ryan, and what we're saying is this: that would you prefer the experience of Alvarez Powell over the immaturity of Javian Brown in this USA game?
As I told you before, this man has experience of playing in the MLS. He has played on US soil before. It's 2 seasons that he has been at Vancouver Whitecaps, so this man has experience at top level. I'd go for him over Alvarez Powell, even though they said Alvarez Powell is a matured figure. He's one of the spearheading this team. I've not seen enough quality for this man to remain in the team. So Javian Brown all day long for me.
Yeah. Where's the Patrick Riley? Jamaica can win this game. The coach is going to out tactic Tapper. Pooh Pepe is on his way by next month. By next month? You're talking. Oh, you're talking. Pooh
is referred to as Kaim Paris.
Kaim Paris, yeah, Pooh, yeah. I figure that's what he said. All right, people, we have our next big star joining the show. You know him, Coach Minzy.
What going?
Yeah, man.
Levon, what going?
Yeah, man, what going?
Talk to the people about Tapana, man.
Big up on yourself, man. Big up to Levon. Big up to Mannings, man. I am sure. Or he's sure. Big up to all the people in the comment section. But, me just come on for... Just go and take, I'll go on. Because I don't know, we have to save something a little more, a triple treat. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, so me just go back to the interview. I'm going to take some notes. It's like, me write the script.
That's what I did.
And, it wasn't a bad interview.
But that's what... It was a bad interview. That's what I'm saying. Because one of the major things he said...
It wasn't a bad interview.
When he gets the players, what can he do? Because there's no system. And the national coach is not responsible for developing a system,
Yeah, but one thing me disagree with that though, Mannings, man, is that as the national coach, you're supposed to see him play in a particular system. Suppose whatever is developed through the ranks is not your philosophy. You have to play with them have, and you believe in that system. So him supposed to have a philosophy when play. A style of play, you understand?
To add to that, Mannings, man, look at it. Are you telling me that you're going to see a particular system of play or style of play that set you up for failure, and you as a coach is going to take that bait just for the whole
exactly.
Yeah, but what he will say to you is that, remember, Simoes was a technical director. He could do certain things. I am just the only time you see me is when the national team, not when the under 23 team, not when there's no planning. The only time I am around is when the national team is called up. That's the only time that I'm involved in the whole process.
But Mannings,
yeah,
isn't it a case where the philosophy that is played at the high level, at the national level, that is what trickles down to those? Because the assistant coach is the one that prepares or should prepare the under 20 and the under 20.
Apparently, that is not what is happening. That happened under René Simoes.
Right, so I can't agree with you, say, and I'm really irresponsible for that. The philosophy of the national team should trickle down
to the coach.
But me kind of understand what I'm saying, But, all right, say for example, me agree with what I'm saying. At the end of the day, he should have a philosophy that he used to capture the players that come in the team, and they will try to play that sort of system.
Okay.
No, because the assistant coach now works with him very closely. He should now be responsible for the junior teams below, say under 20, under 23. Now, that philosophy that is there, tweaking of course with his own personality, is gonna be shouldered down to that team as well.
No, from the standpoint though. Look at it though. it's not a case as if those players from the under 17, under 19, under 21 are being placed in that national team setup. It's not a case like we're seeing that happening.
Right. So I mean, really, I grab onto straw this, you know. But at the same
exactly.
time, I can understand the principle where I try to let the public know that I'm not really irresponsible. He should have not come up to the rank. And why he said that to Levon is because he does not want another cycle to come around. And they are, even if he's not there, yes or no, another cycle to come around and they have to be going to England. He did alluded to that, you know.
Yeah, but that's what
So
I'm
you have
saying.
to put,
That
it into
that is a
perspective.
problem. That is a problem for you to say. When the next cycle come around, we should not be going to England.
But Mannings, man, remember what I said to you, you know.
Why?
A balance is what is needed.
No, but
That is the key thing, you know.
Sure, you know, I believe in the balance, but what you cannot say, because what you're basically doing, you know, is make it appear as if the problem is the influx of the overseas player. You have to be careful when you insert the positions. That's why people say you have to be diplomatic and political. Because when you answer the question that way, you are suggesting that the problem is the influx of these players is causing the issue.
Because good point, Manningson. Because
all right,
look
because
at
watch
us.
this now. Coach
Look
Minzy
at us right here.
let me say this now. Somebody said it, I think Eagle Republic said it. If you look at the 60-man roster and take out all the players out of England, would you and Coach Minzy have confidence in the rest of the players to take us where we need to go?
No, get me wrong, you know, Mannings. Don't get me wrong. You know, you get me wrong.
But Mannings, the interview.
Right?
Don't
get me wrong. You know me stand on that. Right? We need the balance.
I never
see the balance.
Yeah, man. All right, go ahead, Levon.
Go ahead.
All right, the interview that was done, right? It wasn't necessarily a bad interview, but it would be a case like we're here discussing with you right now, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, I just say, you know, say Mannings, man, I'm big idiot though. That overshadow all the good things that you have said there because maybe basically can diss you up. Just join for the
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, when you pinpoint Ravel Morrison that killed the interview, don't pinpoint players like that, man. As I said, that is one of the main reasons why I dislike Jose Mourinho.
No, but Levon, we have to be fair to you know. You know why people are take out Ravel too? You know why people are take out Ravel? It's because Ravel are one of the marquee players, you know. The man put many people, he have him congregation, right? No. What happens is that the man say Tyree Maggie doesn't have a good work. No, he doesn't demand the ball and he doesn't have a good work ethics.
Yeah, he did call out Tariq Maggie as well.
Right. Yeah. And him say, the man love me if you have my defenders and you pass long ball. If you go to them, it no matter who them be. And because you look a boy and you decide that. Come on, I know one player named man call.
Well, that's true though. With Tariq.
No, but even Tariq.
That shouldn't happen either because I mean, if you have a problem with his work rate, in which it's obvious to we as fans. You remember the goal that we conceded against? Was it US? I'm trying to remember when the ball was
when he fell and he fell down and never got back up.
The ball was passed to him in a difficult situation. Yes, however, you as a player could actually just decide to here watch. No matter what, I'm gonna run on this player. Even if I pick up a yellow card, I take one for the team. Whenever see Maggie did that. So in terms of work rate, we can agree that Maggie doesn't have the best of work rates. However, as a coach, you don't come out in the media conspire to those things. That's my point.
Yeah, and that is understandable. But at the same time, why it has so much traction as well is because the man used a Jamaican colloquial term, which we understand that it goes far beyond that. You understand? And that's why it a cause for more questions than answer. But I think I blame the interviewers too. Some of them repeat the question. I can tell you, I just go through it in a half an hour with the interview. I listen and make the notes and thing, you know. I went through it. The interviewers, did not ask the questions that I would have expected. I think they tried to plug in the Craig Butler situation to find out what was Tapa's response. I mean, like how Tapa sidestep that part right there. You understand?
Well, did he sidestep it? He said Leon Bailey. He never called Craig Butler name. All he said is that.
No, but why did they use the reference of the video then, Mannings, man? They were trying to insinuate something.
Yeah, but what he said though. No, what he said though. No, what he said though is that he said, that's not Leon Bailey. That's what him said. That's what he meaning Craig Butler thinks. But that's not Leon Bailey, and he has 110% respect.
No,
from
man,
all the
it's me
players.
understand. No, that was the second aspect of the question. The man,
Okay.
tell us, I make notes in brother. The
All right,
man
go ahead.
the man asked the man play the Craig Butler tape, and he must say, "This is what you're saying about Tapa." But because I believe poor interviewing, they asked two questions in one. So of course, Tapa I go listen to I go answer to the second question, which was citing Leon Bailey. So that was the reason why
he just jumped over the first one and just decided that hey, I'm just going to answer the second one.
He nobody answer the Craig Butler thing. He just go right ahead and answer the part with Leon Bailey. Also, I believe they asked two times about the injury. They asked two times about what JFF had said to you about the three first games. And it was because Tapa sidestep him never answered the question directly. Yeah. So them ask him again. Another thing is that I believe that they should have asked about players' inclusion. Why is this player in the team? Why is this player not in the team? Why
That's
so and so? These are questions that these interviewers should ask, because it's basically you gotta do like a mini press conference. You ask them about the team per se, but I wonder if they wanted to know about these things, and that's why they did not ask those questions.
Good point, because you can't have a 30-minute interview and don't get in the questions that you think that, number one, fans would want to hear, because that's a key thing. And fans would want to know why Javon Watts in the team, why Paris is being left out, why you don't get those things from the interview.
Listen, Ravel, the biggest wave in football in Jamaica over the past 6 months is Ravel Morris. They never asked a question about Ravel. He brought up Ravel, and they never asked him, why isn't he in the squad? So that, again, I am just thinking from that, okay, obviously they had a backstage conversation about this. That's why they never go in there. Yeah, because remember he said, you know what I mean? Because if Ravel Morris caused the biggest wave over the last 6 months, and then all of a sudden he plays one game, and he's 45 minutes, and he's not in the squad, none at all. The coach brings up his name.
The
coach, not the reporter. The coach brings up his name, and no question is asked about it.
Man, they want to do the interviews, man.
That me I said to man. And you know why, Levan? These folks, I don't think they're following the footballers. I could be wrong, but if they were, they would have asked those questions. Kaim Paris, they should have asked about him. Nico Brett, they should have asked about the inclusion of Javon Watson. These are the pointers. Why include Javon Watson? Also, the injured players. Wasn't Ethan Pinnock and
Liam Moore.
What's his name? Liam Moore, they got enough, or are they in the team and so forth? Tell us what is happening so people know. Ask these questions, and I know them questions that them ask.
Yeah.
And that may have challenges with.
Yeah, and then here's the thing, because you see, like I said, some of these things are, like I said, it looked like, because when the question was asked about system and play, and George was basically saying, I agree with you. No, man, I'm saying that because I agree with you.
Yeah, because but he was like he never understand and never challenged George.
He never right. So he thought George was challenging him, and he's saying that, George, you think I don't have enough time with the players? All right.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You're a man that follows the local league a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Basically, what Tapa said is that he made a reference to the local league. If you read between the lines of some things that were said. Now you have Javanis. Javanis hasn't been doing much at Santos de Guapales, right? Now you look at a young Shaquille Bradford, right? Played 11 to 12 games for Waterhouse in the local league. Scored like 6 goals. Going by what we used to judge English players, you know that if a man scored 20 goals in 38 games, we say a big striker that in EPL, right?
Yeah.
This man scored 6 in about 11 or 12 games. if you're going to give chances to players, why isn't this man in the program? Just like the other day you called up Ricardo Morris, why couldn't you actually put this player in the conversation?
Listen,
Not necessarily, you don't have to necessarily play him, but just for experience.
All right,
Let him feel what it feels like.
I could not call him over Kaim Paris.
No. Remember that we are on the campaign for Paris.
Yeah, man.
But Paris and Javanese plays two different positions. Remember?
Right, but I'm going to replace. So if I'm going to, so let's look at who we could take out of the squad. I would take out Fisher and bring in Greg Lee.
Because we need a backup left back as well.
We need a backup left back. All right, I would take out East and bring in Paris. All right. The other player that I would not have brought is Javon Watson, because if I can get 45 minutes out of Kevin Stewart, that's better for me. I mean, outside of that, really, who in the squad there's really no other, unless you're going to probably give Fleming a break, but there's no other change in the squad really. And I don't know if Coach
I said it earlier, but it seems like I never heard. I have nothing against Flemings, but Paris gives me what I want from Flemings with end product. Right? So for me personally, Flemings can just take a break for a while. Not necessarily do away with him, because he's instrumental to what the coach wants. However, as I reiterate, Kaim Paris, he beats players, he assists players, and he scores goals at top level. So why I would stick up on a man who I know that he's going to beat players, but when it comes down to making that final third decision, it seems like his brain just went haywire.
Brain freeze.
But it could be a case also that the coach see him as puny in build, and he's not able to manage the rigors of the CONCACAF thing.
Isn't he a little bit bigger than Maggie?
Of course he is. Way bigger.
He's bigger than Maggie, man. And
Maggie in terms of mass?
Yeah, man.
In terms of body size.
And taller. I think he's taller than Maggie. And I mean, Maggie is in a high traffic area because the center of the pitch is a very high traffic area for Maggie. And stuff. But the squad is not only for the US game for the top ranking. The squad is for all three games. I think the only person who you don't see in the 23 that will be a part of it is Anthony Grant. I mean, of course, they can make changes as time goes by. Like if somebody should not be fit after this weekend round of games, they could always make a change to bring in someone else. But for the most part, the squad is indeed for the 3 games, as far as I understand. Is that the understanding you have, Lavan and Coach Minzy?
Yeah. But let me ask a question about Kaim Paris. I'm my baller, because him play ball in a full area, You understand? And I've done a few videos on it. Is it a case where them never really like when play in Saudi Arabia?
Saudi Arabia.
Remember the first set of players that played. I don't think he was impressive in that game.
But
separate and apart. Huh?
Isn't that only one game really?
And who was impressive?
That's why I have a caveat now, is that even though he had a horrible game there, he would have improved playing in the league that he's playing, because the man get a new contract and he not stop score goal. So
another point as well, just to substantiate the point. To substantiate a point, he has helped his team to the top of their league.
Exactly.
They're leading the league, so you have to factor in those things. And you see the coach of that team, it take off the striker, the other wingers. Paris is the only one that is left on the field to play the entirety of those games. So it seems that coach has a trust in him to say, hey, you're the main man for our club, so I want you to see you out there every time. So I agree with your point. Since that Saudi Arabia game, this man has improved leaps and bounds.
Yeah, and I think, like, I mean, remember, you're not bringing him to start because Junior Fleming don't start. You're not bringing him to start if you have Jamal Lowe, but it's an option that you have. And like, you have tried other options. That's all I'm saying. You have tried the option of Javan East. He has had enough opportunities. It's not that Javan East was impressive in Saudi Arabia either, but he still caught.
But he scored. But he scored. He scored, and probably that would have put him in a good standing.
Yeah, but some of these things, like I'm saying, I think what he has done, he has set himself in a position where if this doesn't work, he's going to say, listen, I had a group of players that I wanted to work with, and I think this to me was my biggest takeaway. Like some of the players that came in were brought in not by his choosing. He did not, like, I don't think he said, listen, bring in Watson. Yeah, man. I don't think that is what happened. What I am suspecting is that these players made themselves available, and somebody within the federation said, here are some players. They have signed contract, they're on the list, and then you can select from them. And I mean, so now the question is, he actually picks them though, but they're in the pool. And that could be, he probably feel like, boy, imagine this big old baller. How me cannot pick Mikel Antonio? How can I not pick these players? I don't know. Brethren, to me, I don't know. It's a little bit confusing. But I don't think.
I want to pick up on a point.
What I don't think, like Coach Minzy, I don't think the interview is as terrible as people are making it out to be, except that he should not have called the player's name. And the other thing is that what has happened right now, what has happened right now with the team really is that unless they have some sort of dialogue, there is going to be this. They have to fix this. Before the game, they have to fix this. They have to fix it. They have to come together and have a conversation like they had at the end of the Costa Rica game. Have a team talk, a players-only meeting, and fix this because the players have to feel welcome. You understand me? What? Okay.
Mannings, man. The point
that we are called traffic police. I mean, coach means they are traffic police. Yes.
All right, Mannings, man. The point I want to take you up on is about Kevin Stewart, right?
Yeah.
Could it be said that the whole coaching unit are rigorous in their thought process, knowing that they don't really want to bring someone in at this point in time where you know that we are just on 1 point for our first 3 games, and the next 2 opponents are 2 of the better opposition in CONCACAF. So with that in mind, could it be said that they don't really want to try that player in a critical position, knowing that Anthony Grant will be back for the second game of this little phase, right? Could it be that the case that the rigors of they went throughout all of this with that thought in mind that, hey, we have Anthony Grant coming back for the second game against Canada and all of that. So what do you think?
All right, Coach means you want to go first.
I think it could be a reasonable thought from them. But at the same time, with a quality player like that, they could have considered him. It doesn't matter. He has been in and out of injuries, in and out of his team as well. So that could also be one of the consideration. Again, adding new players could be the biggest consideration. But at the same time, being the quality he is, I do believe he could have gotten a little nick over.
A little nick. Nobody say a little nick.
Even over Anthony Grant. Let's just call a spade a spade.
No, man, they can't put him over Grant. Grant player solidify himself already.
No. What I'm saying that you'll actually have Grant in the team still, you know. However, in terms of starting position, what do you think?
No, but Levon, you just said it could be because a new player, you know. Grant would have played already and solidify his spot. So you can't take him out to put in a new man again.
Look what I'm saying, coach, is this. Personally, for me, I would choose him because I don't know if you heard when I said it on the first part of the program that when you look at Spain, right? Gavi has just played a handful of games for Barcelona. And guess what? Luis Enrique has called him up for the Spain national team.
But you think it's a wrong reference point you're using?
Meaning?
Because those are quality players, even if they're not playing.
Of the highest level.
But Kevin Stewart is a quality player.
At the highest, but he's in League 2.
You have different quality.
Don't say League 2, man. It's championship level man is playing.
No, well, Lava, let me say this. You have different quality because it's just like class. Like material,
yeah,
you have linen, you have silk, you have corduroy. They're all quality, but just different.
But Spain, but look at it now. See, Spain up here, Jamaica is down here, so we have to wait based on how they are the players that they have to choose from the pool.
Yeah,
so
but
Right, so that's why I'm saying you can't use that reference. The point is
no man. What I'm saying is that all right, go ahead.
I would have picked Kevin, you know.
Mhm.
But as remember, so is basically hypothetically asking, you know, could it be?
Mhm.
Could it be this is the reason why they did not do this, did not do that? So may I speak hypothetically as well? But I would pick him. I would pick him.
all right, so let me answer. Give him my answer, Coach Minty. Here's the thing: if Javon Watson can be called and there's a need for him in the squad, you still can, because we could have added. Because remember, for the next game, we're gonna have 24 persons.
Mm-hmm.
For the Canada game, Anthony Grant comes into the squad and they end up being 24. So here's my thing. You could have still called Kevin Stewart for the one game and you still have 24. When you come back to Jamaica, you understand what I mean? But he could still have been in there, because when you come to Jamaica, you are going to have 24 players because Grant is going to be added. Why didn't you take 24 then? If you don't want to go up to 27 or 26, at least include Grant. Even if you want to keep Javon Watson, you could still add Stewart. So
Stewart,
that is, you understand what Coach means?
because you still are going to deplete in the middle, you know. Especially with a person at a specific position. Kevin Stewart is a specific CDM. Anthony Grant is a specific CDM.
Yeah. And the problem is that
you want to have coverage in that area, and omitting him won't give you coverage in that area.
So, and the problem is, again, remember, when the team gets back to Jamaica, Anthony Grant gets included for Canada and for Honduras. The squad moves from 23 to 24. It is only the USA game that we have in a 23-man squad for.
You know, you said the credit card decline, so I can't afford Grant Stewart from England.
Yeah, man, the money are the problem.
No.
They might cry about it a lot, man. I know Sir Javon Watson just there right at your fingertips, so why not just go the man?
You really listen. I don't get a giving problem. I don't believe that, because here's the thing. Here, the truth is, I want Gray in the side. I think like Gray needed to have been recalled, but honestly, if it is a
which Gray?
Andre Gray.
But he is.
Yeah, man. I wanted him in the squad because I think he should have been from the first 3 games. If it is a matter of fear or plane ticket and affordability, you already have Mikel Antonio, you have Kemar Roof, you call Shamar Nicholson, and you have Jamal Lowe. If it's a matter of and
He's a chum change.
And Eastwood Park Road. All right. And you have Eastwood Park Road. All right. So if it's a matter of ticket prices, I could understand you then saying, all right, we're not going to call Gray so we can afford Stewart's ticket, because he is more needed in his position than even a Gray is needed in his position. Though I wanted Gray to be called up.
Good pointer.
Yeah, that's what Coach Minzy. Yeah, because is Gray going to play in the USA game? I doubt it. He's not going to. I think he's going to go past Mikel Antonio, Kemar Roof, Jamal Lowe that he has called up, and Shamar Nicholson to get all the way to, and Javon Eastwood Park Road to get down to Gray. I don't think so. So if it's a matter of ticketing price, I would say for this game, get Stewart in the team.
Or is it a case they were scouting him and they don't like what them say?
Listen, if
I'm just saying,
all right. So let me say, if Kevin Stewart, based on the last 270 minutes of Javon Watson's football career that I've seen, 275, because I need to give him the 5 minutes from the Mexico game. 275 minutes. If when they scouted Kevin Stewart, his quality does not supersede that, he should not be playing football.
But Manningsman, what you should also remember, is the key thing that the coach mentioned, there are players that are willing to die for him.
For him on the
Javon
field.
Watts is that type of player.
Mhm.
You have to remember
Yeah,
that
man.
Javon Watts is one of his most loyal soldiers. So that is a man that will actually die for Tapa. We don't know what if Kevin Stewart got dead field. We don't know that.
Yeah, but all right. So watch this. Javon Watson. I don't know if he will have the energy to die on the field. In other words, like at, at, at the rate and the pace of Javon Watson's operation.
I
People
pray
are
to
saying
God he not die.
no, we're not talking figuratively, not literal country. No. Not. Are we talking figuratively, right? We shouldn't need Javon at this time. It is unfortunate that we still believe we need Javon Watson. Now, people are saying that he's needed in to build the vibes and to merge the. If your captain cannot bring every time I watch club football and there's a crisis in dressing rooms, then the player that normally lead the players meeting is the coach. Is the captain. If Andre Blake cannot get the team together, is he worthy then to be the captain? If we have to go and pick up a man from retirement to come and bring the team into oneness and unity for the purpose of going to a World Cup, then what is the purpose of the captain?
But Mannings, man, I don't really buy that.
Big up military Gouda.
I think it's foolishness doing it because we have seen these players right throughout and we have watched them all throughout, whatever their antics on social media is, and we have always seen that these are vibes they set of people. They have that camaraderie already. So why would we need Aka for that purpose?
Here's the next good point. We could have done without East from El Salvador, save that money. Well, Fisher plane ticket probably cheap because of from the US to the US. All right. And Aka could have stayed and use that money to bring. We could have done that. Listen, it would be better to bring 20 persons and bring Stewart than to bring some of these players.
Yeah, we needed it. All right, you see, based on what the coach said in the interview, apparently he wants players in the middle that complements each other.
Yep.
He has not made mention of anything about a CDM, or he has not mentioned anything about because he has been mentioning throughout the interview that the weakness of the team is the defense. They are lacking in concentration, and they are this and they are that. And I don't believe that the defense is the weakest part of the team. But he's the coach, so I'm not questioning his acumen there. I am just saying based on what I have observed.
Coach Minzy, me is a YouTube coach, and this alone me have brother. I don't really have no more thing, you know, only tactical board and them thing that we use. I don't really know that. But as far as I'm concerned,
midfield a weak point.
The midfield are the weakest point because there's no protection for the defense. They are exposed every single second. They are exposed.
So Mannings, man, that's why my 3-5-2 formation best suit them. You have defensive cover.
So you part the middle, yeah. I that middle that's from the other night, you know. We have to go part the middle, 3-5-2. Yeah, man. That's the thing because US strong point at the midfield. And once you control the midfield, you will control the game.
But guess what we have seen over the past couple of games with them, though, coaches, is that they have been playing down the wings, and you see to combat them down the wings, 3-5-2 formation would perfectly counter that.
That's true. Because they play 4-3-3, you know.
The USA,
wide
4-3-3,
yeah, they utilize the wide man.
Well, that is
what I'm thinking also is that if he goes ahead and decide that he's going to choose Daryl DK to play as a striker, right? Mm-hmm. That's a problem right there, you know, because Daryl DK up against a two-man defense. What I think is going to happen? That man is arguably one of the most robust players in terms of forward in CONCACAF right now, you know. Yeah. You look at the youngster again, as I said, Ricardo Pepe. He's no slouch. So to combat those little things, you as a coach have to look at it and say, what do I think is my best matchup? how do I counter what the US will come with? So, as I said, pack the midfield and counter those things. That's what it comes down to, you know. Sometimes you have to just move away from the manual. Something that you're used to, you have to go outside of your comfort zone at times just to get the desired result. That's what I see.
I think that could work, right, Coach? Maybe Coach means when they're doing the show later, we need to look at that. How we would set up in a 3-5-2.
3-5-2.
3-5-2.
Yeah, it can be a 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2, whichever.
Yeah, man.
So if we go 3 at the back, that would be Low, Moore, and Pinnock.
Pinnock.
So Low would be the sweeper.
It doesn't really matter.
Who play in the center?
You know,
I don't man.
When it comes down to 3 at the back, you know, man, remember that these are players that can alternate for each other right across the back line. Ethan Pinnock already has that.
Yeah, but Levan, you still need them at specific position.
Yeah, man, say that probably have Liam Moore as a sweeper.
Yeah. I would have Liam Moore in the middle, Low on the right, and Pinnock on the left, because Pinnock is a left footer.
Yeah, I know, and knowingly that he already plays in that system for Brentford. You
right,
know,
for
can bring
Brentford.
some expertise from there, and you know that Low can play a ball over the top. You know that Pinnock can do the same. So just allow Liam Moore to be that one to sit back right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you go with you'll still use Taxi and Lawrence right and left, or you'd start Bobby Reed on the right and play Taxi on the left.
No, man, would I still put?
You'd have put Alvas.
Would I still put in? Yeah, man, would I still put no Alvas or Javian? For me, I'd put Javian, but the coach I would go with Alvas.
Yeah, that's me too.
So we'd go with 3-5. Part of the 5 would be Javian, let's use Taxi. That, and Taxi. And then who are the 3 in the middle now?
All right, for me, as I told you before, I'd have Devon Williams, Daniel Johnson, and since as the coach has been talking up a storm about Maggie, it seems like
I put Maggie at the head. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And then
so
Roof and Antonio up front.
That is my pick. It's between Roof or Bobby Reed. Both of them tend to make late runs into the box, so I'll have one of those two to make late runs off those knockdowns from Antonio.
On farm, I would start Shamar Nicholson, but because of his injury, I'd want to save him late in the game.
Yeah.
Rather than start him. Because he's the foreman still, you know. If he didn't have the injury, I'd start him as the foreman.
Would you start him with Mikel Antonio and let Mikel Antonio run off him?
Yep.
I'd start him with Antonio, yeah.
Okay, and then you have like Roof who can come on, Low who can come on, Bobby Reed who can come on. Okay. But we still have a concern, you know, because I keep saying, what if our left back get injured?
Oh, Alvas goes
our left back. Alvas can't play left back. Alvas can't use him right. Alvas can't use him right. Alvas can't use him right foot, you know. Alvas can't use him right foot, you know.
So Javian would probably be the only one.
Javian would go over there. And according to what we know about Fisher can play.
Brethren,
even though we know people don't like Fisher.
Listen, let me say this to you. If Fisher's best position is right back, and him can't play right back, how are you gonna put him on left back in a weaker position? Like, these are the things we don't understand. Like,
where's the coaches that says, like we're talking about Diego Dalot for United?
Jesus, please. Don't even go there, man. Man. And that's why I have an issue with. I think though, being objective, I think the selection is because of the monetary issues. Because you know that carry the Uber from UK.
Amari Ben, what is up? Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And Kevin would have come from UK as well. So I guess it's the financial restraint that would have caused them to make decisions like these. So hope that it will turn out to be, you know, a good call. But we want to ask, what if we get a positive result? And me not talk about drawn game, you know. What if we win the game?
Perfect. Because for me personally, you know, coaches says what I look for in these 3 games is that I want at minimum. This is the minimum that I'm looking for. 4 points. Anything outside of 4 points, they can just kiss World Cup. Kiss World Cup goodbye. Because remember that if they get less than that, it will put
4 is the minimum.
4 is the minimum. 4 is the minimum. Anything that's outside of that, failure. So when I look at these two teams, as we said, it's not a case of USR being playing over the top football. It's not as if they have been brilliant. We played against them the other day and we only got a 1-0, and it was because of defense lapse why that happened. Now, I put it to you that if Tapa sets up this team properly, we can get a positive result. What comes into the equation now is that will he do that? That's a problem.
Yeah. See, coach Miller say that.
Mr. Cataract talk about me sitting there. I've been chopping Maggie in the comment section. Cataract never, man. But we have to be realistic, Cataract. And based on what we have to talk about what we have. You understand?
Yeah.
So hence the reason why I mentioned Fisher can play over there, so, you know?
Yeah. You know, now that you mentioned that Amari Bell not in the team, it could be a money issue for real.
Yeah, man, I think so.
Yeah, it could be a money issue why they didn't like bring him in. You notice they didn't even bring in Wizard either.
That man can stay in England.
Yeah. But it's still the same chopping and change. So it could be, I think. I like this though, the 3-2-4, the 3-2-4-1, which is really the same.
5-5-4-1.
5-4-1 are the same 3-5. It's really the same formation.
Yeah, but we just kind of get a little bit definitive.
Yeah, how we set it up. But this could work. You know, this could work, and maybe that is what we need to do, because here's the truth. I think, like I said,
but Mannings, we are the YouTube coaches, you know. We know nothing about football. The coach will use his traditional 4-3-2-1 or what?
Yeah.
4-4-2.
Oh, you're saying we're going to go back to the original formation? Lord have mercy.
So,
but why then, coach? You think that makes sense? Why would you bring Liam Moore, Ethan Pinnock, Mariappa, and Lowe, and don't use 3 at the back? Because he has never had all of them in the squad. No, he has never had all of them in the squad one time. This will be the first time.
Well, yeah, it would be the first, because
but you can't say that in the Mannings, because all of them in the squad, them are going to use 3 at the back, you know. Remember, more than one games are going to play.
And to the fact that Lowe has been struggling with an injury over time as well.
Exactly. So it could be true, but you have to look on the other side of the coin.
But as I said, our coaches, so one thing is that we are YouTube coaches and we think that we know what is best, but that's a problem, because as I keep on saying now, if you don't have a strong midfield, the easiest way to combat that is by packing centrally, you know, have 3 at the back. That is the only way you can counter that, and we have seen a lot of teams in Europe do this thing, because you look at Inter Milan, right? Inter Milan doesn't really have a defensive midfielder, because Barella is not a defensive mid, Calhanoglu is not a defensive mid, Brozovic is not a defensive mid. You see what they do? They use a 3 at the back system to counter that. It's simple as that. But
what I'm saying, though, Levan, those teams,
it might be simple in theory.
And not only that, what I learned is that when you're not able to possess the ball, you have to be able to defend well. The problem is that we are not defending well, and we can't possess the ball. Listen, tell me this. When last have you watched a Jamaica team play and they made 15 consecutive, well, maybe 15 is too much. Let me go. 10 consecutive passes. The thing is that when you're able to pass the ball around, you can have more creative play in your midfield. When you're set up to play defense and then counter, you have to have ball winning, at least 2 ball winners in your midfield, whatever formation you're using, because you know that their primary responsibility would not to be creative in terms of passing the ball, but their primary responsibility is to keep defensive shape to break up plays, which is the problem we are having. We're not defending well because we concede 2 goals per game, and we're not possessing the ball, and we're not strengthening the area that we need to strengthen.
But you're making my point, because the fact that they don't possess the ball, or let's say they don't know how to make consecutive passes, that is where the 3 at the back comes in, because that's the defensive formation, you know. If you look at it, no matter which way you might look at it and say, oh yeah, they play attacking like sides like those over there in Italy and probably in England, it's a defensive formation. It's a formation that you don't necessarily require to have the possession of the ball for long periods, right?
Yeah.
So this would be the perfect scenario for them. And know
But
that.
look here. Go on, Levon.
I'm saying that when you look at it as well, right? Knowing that a team like US will come to possess the ball, this would be the perfect counter to them. Can go ahead now.
I just have add an iffy on it. You know, the reason why the coach said the defense are the problem is because the midfield not playing well and we're not able to keep possession of the ball. The defense is always under pressure, and that causes them to somewhat lose concentration, because how can you go under so much pressure for the entire 90 minutes
For 80 minutes.
and not wilt under the pressure? Hence the reason why the coach probably is saying that is the problem. Also, if you don't possess the football,
Exactly.
it is not just a matter of playing cute or tiki-taka football and all of these things. You possess the football in order to pull the opponents out of their position, because they are going to want to get the ball. So they will do anything on the field to get the ball. So when you move the ball, move it into space, move it through the channels and all of these things, you would be able to pull them out of their space, and you can find a channel, you can find a door, you can find an opening, or go through the defensive line, and you'll be able to probably hit the back of the net.
Good point, and I'm going to substantiate
the
point too. I'm going to substantiate the point. Look now, right? The teams that we have played so far, they have had most of the possession in all the games, right? No, you look at some of the teams, I notice that they play high line. So a lot of times they're way up in our across our half. No, they just hold on to position a bit longer with quick passing and passing. When I talk about passing, you just kick straight up to the forward and then boom, going back to the opposing team. But actually telling passes, we could easily have 1v1 with goalkeeper on multiple occasions now, because remember that these are teams that are playing high. So they possess the ball better. We could have had results.
Yeah. And I like what you guys are saying, because there are two ways to play defense. To keep the ball and to be well, because you have individual defense and team defense. So when you're defending as a team, it's how you position yourself. But like Coach Mindy says, no team can park the bus for 90 minutes successfully. At some time, mental pressure, fatigue, because if you're not having the ball at some point, like I said, Coach Minzy, you're going to wilt and you're going to probably concede, unless the other team is woeful in terms of converting their opportunities. The truth is, which has been happening to Jamaica, which is that it's just because some of the teams have not been clinical enough.
Mexico.
Because let us go back
we keep the thing. The games are not close enough. It is because the score line being close is different from the game being close. And
let us go back to the Gold Cup. Let us go back to the Gold Cup. Jog your memory. When this Trinidadian team, everybody said them hold out Mexico and them this and then that, and they play a low defensive block and it was working, and they nullified the onslaught from Mexico. The fact of the matter is that Mexico was not converting their chances. They weren't clinical in front of goal as well. So that seems like a team can hold out a low defensive block for the entire game. It will work sometime, because look, playing football. But how many teams have the concentration level to do that? Sometimes you are concentrated, but sometimes the opposing team not able to hit the back of the net because they not convert them chances.
There you go. But look at this. I mean, sometimes I wonder if Dimo really serious. Dimo, the goal that we scored against Costa Rica was not long ball. Maggie turned on that ball, remember? The other ball, the goal that Boza scored, was not based on long passes. So the truth is, the long passes have not been beneficial to us, really. In other words, that tactic has not worked. It has not worked in terms of helping us to score goals.
But we
right?
don't really have ball handlers still, We don't really have ball handlers per se that will hold the ball and make the passes move to. And I think the static movement of our players, because a lot of people believe that off the ball movement is not important. And I think so that's one of the reasons why we can't possess the ball. And if you notice when Ravel play, him a point in a spot where people for go behind the line. I don't remember the
In the
thing what
Saudi
Jeremy
Arabia,
do.
right? Is it the Saudi Arabia
Remember,
game he was doing that? Yeah, man.
he was doing it as well in which game again?
Or was it
I think he
Japan?
was doing it in the Panama game too. And if you notice the thing that the video that Jeremy analyst did, it was a case where the players weren't moving into their position, they weren't moving behind the line of the pass or the line of the block and all of these things for the passes to be made. So off the ball movement is an issue, and we play the football too slow as well. You understand? So it's a plethora of things that cause us, to be in the situation. Well, I don't know.
So
Trust me,
the YouTube coaches have come to a consensus, and the consensus is we need to play three at the back. But that is just the YouTube coaches. They're we're not experts, we're egg experts, right? You understand this? So hopefully, if anyone out there, have ears to the powers that be, maybe they can take a little idea from the YouTubers. You understand me? Because it can work, and this is probably what we need to do because if you can't score, then don't concede. Do not concede. We can't be conceding 2 goals. 2 goals a game. Jamaica is the only team conceding 2. If you look at all the other games, I think Honduras got a big beating from the USA in the last. All the other games have been close. The other games have been, and our games, I would say, except for the Costa Rica game, and I think Costa Rica is the worst team, in my opinion, in this. People may say Jamaica, but I think Costa Rica is one of the worst teams in the present format. All right? So I never made much of our game against them because they are not a good team. They are not a good team. And so when you look at the other games, and you go back to the Gold Cup, we just don't look like a team who knows what we want to do most of the times. All right. Anyway, people, it is 2:15, and we have a couple of shows that are happening today. I know Coach Minzy preparing for Coach's Desk Big Show 333. So you need to check that out. And Levon, what time you'll be on, Levon?
8 p.m. as per usual, Jamaica time.
8 p.m. at Sports Frenzy. People need to check them out. And if you're here and you have not subscribed, go to the Sports Frenzy right now and subscribe to the Sports Frenzy. Good content, right? The program is not long. They probably go around an hour, so you can still do that and check out the Coach's Desk, because the Coach's Desk is from dusk till dawn. You understand me? It goes on, but I know Coach Minzy have to run, and then we are going to wrap up in 12 minutes time. But respect Coach Minzy.
Yeah, man. Big up to all the people in the
it.
comment section.
Yeah, man.
Big up Mannins, man. Big up Levon. I know the thing.
Yeah, man.
Subscribe to Sports Frenzy, people. Subscribe to Mannins, man channel.
And check out the Coach's Desk. You understand me? People listen to Cataract. Him going to give you the financial breakdown, because them that try to use him credit card according to him to buy the ticket, but the credit card declined. So see, we can figure out that with Cataract. But Levon, how many points you think we're gonna get from these games? What are you hoping? What are your expectations?
I really want 4 points, but it's a scratchy situation. Knowing that USR are on home side, they got a victory last time on Jamaica, seems up and down right now, and I don't know what will happen with them. I'm just hoping that we can get 4 points from these games at minimum. Yeah. If you're asking me how much I would want, I want all 9 points, but I know that it's not going to happen, so I'm going to be realistic and say 4 at the minimum.
Yeah, man. And that's you see that name up there, Dre. Anyways, a sports is a Chelsea fan, Dallas Cowboys fan, LA Lakers fan. You understand me? So the man
London is a LA Lakers fan or a LeBron fan. Which one?
You know what I mean? That's a very good point, because some people are not Barcelona fans, they are Messi fans. But
Exactly.
so check out Dre Anywhere Sport as well.
I know them, man.
You know them. You know
Yeah.
them. Yeah, but I think, like I said, I agree with you. We need a minimum of 4 points, which means that we have to get a win. I think like I really believe that we can get, like, we need 5 points. I would say if we don't lose any game in this round, it would be good for us.
I agree. But 3 points
Good,
is not good enough.
good. But let me say this: I am sure that if there is not a players only meeting, when all of these players are assembled, then we're going to have problems. There has to be a meeting for all of these things to be ventilated. There is, from where I stand, there is issues in terms of unity and oneness. And I keep saying that, Levon, because to me, that is the biggest thing. Because I'll tell you this, it's just like Manchester United. It's just like people are saying Arteta is a bad coach, he's not good. But if sometimes when the players meet and have that meeting together, regardless sometimes of what the coach may not be doing, the players are galvanized as a group. Like I said, a good team play together, a great team play for one
Praise for
another,
each other. Yep.
play for each other. And when you have that, you can eke out a result. In other words, if you have a good coach and a disorganized, a team that is in disunity, like, I doubt you're going to get results. But if you have a bad coach and you have a unified group of players, I think it is easier to eke out a result.
True.
And so that's what I'm hoping, that the captain of the team can, from now, and I keep on saying this, brethren, we cannot have a team and then we have a WhatsApp group and only some players in it. Imagine you work for a company and 100 people work at the company and the company have a WhatsApp group and you're not in it. What are you going to think?
I feel now, yeah. I not like group.
There you go. It will be like they never gave. If they gave you an opportunity and you declined, that is different.
Yeah, that's
but if they
different.
start the group and you're not invited in it just have a funny feel about it. And so
True.
these are some of the things I think that needs to happen. And if it doesn't happen, I have doubts about the amount of points we can accumulate. If it happens, I see us getting 5 points, because I think now the team that I think will give us the biggest challenge is this Canada team. I think how they play out on the flanks on the left with these speedy players, they pose serious challenges to the Jamaican team. I'm not as fearful about the USA. I'm not as fearful about Honduras. I think the Honduran backline is older, but they are very good up front. But their backline is older, which I think
So
we can.
Manning's man couldn't
Yeah.
say the same thing about Panama the other day, because Panama is a aging team, and so we couldn't get the best of them. So
No, but no man, but only the Andrade, but the Panamanian backline is not as old as the Honduran backline.
I got what you're saying.
Yeah, they are a little bit older, meaning our pace can beat them, because that's what I realized the USA used against Honduras. But they are very good going forward, because in the early stages of that game against the USA, I mean, this guy with the colored hair and Honduras, I mean, he had the US midfield, I call it mesmerized.
True.
So, yep. So yeah, man. So that is it. But people, listen again. Show some love to Ryan LFC. We had over here today. Let me give you some of the vloggers we had over here. Ryan LFC was here. We had Sports Frenzy. We have the coach's desk. We had Military Guna. We have Dre Anyweather. Yeah, we had I just saw Unseen Sports in the building as well. And so I want to thank all of the person. This is so good, because it has to be one group. It's not like we're trying to outlive or outbeat anybody. All of us.
All right, so Manning's man, you know what I have to
Yeah,
say.
man.
So just like how you
Yeah.
call for unity in the Jamaica football,
Yeah.
the YouTubers must unify and build up each other. Because at the end of the day, you cannot look down upon a man with the below you. You need to look upwards. Let's go up. There's no way to look down. Just like Jamaica. Jamaica can't look down on 1 point and say, yeah, we can get positive from this. No, we have to look upwards. So that's what all the YouTubers have to do, man. Keep on pushing each other up the ladder, man. Because at the end of the day, as I keep on saying, YouTube is big enough for everybody.
Yeah, man.
And just like as you mentioned, a man can leave from over your channel back to over to another channel and just keep on watching the contents, because the contents are always going to be there. on the channel. So simple as that.
Yeah, man, and that is so true. That's it. Listen, I like since I've been in this, I've learned things from Simon Preston. I've learned things from Sports Frenzy, Ryan LFC, Coach Minzy, Unseen. So I learn things because and I share things. So all of us need to learn and grow together. Don't let this be like the entertainment industry in Jamaica. You understand me? We are not crabs in a barrel. You know, we are all kings in kingdoms. You understand me? We don't know the crab in a barrel business. No crab around here. You know, no sea creature around here. You understand me? But I want to thank everyone for joining and giving us some time to rest. So you can prepare for all the stuff that are happening later. You know, for all my Arsenal fans, you know what's going to happen. It's going to be 4 from 4. Brighton.
Not
Taking Brighton.
not with
home.
Granit, the midfield maestro out. But later
No,
I'll
no,
talk about
man. We have Sambi Lakanga, a big thing. You know,
later I'll talk about that, man.
big game tomorrow. I think Ryan LFC doing a preview. It is Manchester City versus Liverpool. For the cricketing fans, the universe boss has left the bubble. I heard that he was bubbling for his birthday and overexerted himself, so he's out of the bubble, saying he's going to prepare for the World Cup. So we'll ask Demo Dre about that. What do you think about Chris Gayle leaving the bubble? I don't know. You understand me? But people, blessings and thanks. I can't call all the names because it is so many names. But
Yeah, man, let's
thanks
big up
everyone.
everybody. Because
Yeah, man.
them keep the show active, you know, so
Yeah,
can't go on without them.
yeah, man. So blessings. Listen, enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, join Sports Frenzy later. You also have the coaches desk later on. So join them and people stay safe. You understand me? Wear your mask, sanitize, and guess what? Social distance. All right, and keep hoping that we can get some ticket to go in the national stadium. Anyone rise against coach desk?
You want me to end the show for you?
Go ahead, man.
Jackson.
Who?
Lamar Jackson.
Oh, let me tell them already, man. Me telling people them about Lamar Jackson, man. Biggest thing around here, brethren. Lamar Jackson. You know, Lamar Jackson to the world. I like my quarterbacks when they can run with the ball. You're not a real quarterback unless you can run with the ball, brother. You have to can run with the ball. You understand me? All right. But blessings, one and all. Travis Peso, baller car. Big up yourself. Fresh God. Big up yourself. The money always there at the thing from
Yeah, man,
Again,
I have to big up your biggest commenter. Shatta.
no, Shatta is not a real person. You didn't know.
I know, man.
Yeah, man, it's artificial intelligence. You understand?
It's a robot.
It's a robot, yeah. Big up Shatta. AI around here, the only AI. And Claudine, always on. Hey, I am not one penny. Man, no Ravel, no dollars. Hey, one thing I'm very glad. Because when Claudine comes on the show, she pressure me. She said she said she pressure Mr. Speed yesterday until he must run off the show, you know. Claudine, easy, you understand me. But respect to the female in the house. And things so. Again, bless up everyone. And Sunday, we have something big lined up for you. That's when we'll be up next. Jason Ferran, bless up Jairus. Yeah, man, Demo. All right, take care of yourself. All right. See you, people. Alex, Kevin, bless up. Narton, Pagan 180, Jordan, respect. All right, we are out.